Hey, I'm Brody Brazil, and welcome to Teal Town After Dark.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into a 5-2 victory over the Colorado Avalanche. We are here for you to take you the rest of the way home. Teal Town After Dark. Oh, my Lord. As always, you can hook up with us multiple ways to get at us, but use that Teal Town hashtag, tealtownusa. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify, wherever it is. Just make sure you hit subscribe and give us those likes. Chat with us everywhere and find us on your favorite podcatcher. And new for the second round, grab yourselves one of these sweet teas because hello, win it for Jumbo. All right, everybody, win it for Jumbo. Find that sweet tea. Limited quantities available. It's on tealtownusa.com. So with that, I am your host, AJ Strong right now, and we go to Eric Landi.
Hey guys, what's up? Sharks, I think start off and have to kind of find their bearings a little bit. Kind of a little bit of the letdown of the emotions from that Game 7, but find their footing and play a darn good game.
And to the Great White North, we travel to Ian Reed.
Hey everybody, glad to be here. Thought the game was amazing because we won, and I'm looking forward to breaking it all down.
Hey now, so let's start with the most obvious things. No Pavelski, of course, after what happened in Game 7. No Donskoy after what happened in Game 6. Remember, Las Vegas, the hit counter, I think, attributed 20 hits for that singular one. But I'm just saying. But of course, wouldn't be a Sharks game if the Sharks did not give up the first goal, and they gave it up to Gabriel Bork at 2:10, assisted by Dude, Where's Makar? There you go. Yeah, we're going to make that joke all summer long, guys. Also assisted by Joe. So, okay, Landy, Sharks give up the first goal. 2 minutes in, you have to be thinking, uh-oh, here we go again.
Yeah, well, I mean, the goal didn't look too bad. I mean, they started off with the first possession in Colorado's zone. Felt like they had very early on dictated the play, maybe a little cautious, but not, didn't look overly extended or anything like that. And the legs, you could see they were a little bit slow on the slower end, but I like the way that they started. It was kind of an unfortunate bounce, kind of an unfortunate breakdown of the play. And, the Colorado gets that first one, but the Sharks didn't really look phased.
Ian, what about you?
Yeah, I went back in during the first intermission and watched the goal. And I mean, obviously you look at the time. If you just looked at the time and look at the scoring, you're like, oh God, here we go. But I didn't really have that same, when I went back and watched it, I'm like, all right, that's not terrible. I mean, you don't want to give up the first goal. You don't want to give up the first goal in 5 minutes. But as far as Martin Jones' early 5-minute goals go, that was pretty tame.
Okay, I like that. And of course, we should also mention the fact that we've seen all the different people open the doors over the playoffs since the 2015-16 season. Tonight was a really sweet move from Douglas Murray and Devin Setaguchi to start off with their backs to the cameras, wearing their own jerseys, and then Murray pulling his jersey off to reveal a Thornton one, and Devin ripping his off to reveal a Pavelski one. Sweet touch, nice move by the alumni there to pay respect to the current crew. That was sweet. Just wanted to touch on that. Then at 14:44, Gustav Nyquist finally pots one in the postseason. But I think the highlight for this one, Ian, was Burns' silky skating to get it on net and for Nyquist to bury that garbage.
Yeah, I mean, look, they didn't really care how you got them at the end of the day. It only matters that you put it in. But definitely, I mean, Burns did the work, and Nyquist was definitely the benefactor there for sure.
Yeah, Landy, what'd you like about that goal besides just those the sweet wheels of Burnsy?
Yeah, Gustav Nyquist is going to be a player that's going to really need to step up his game. He's one of the more speedier forwards on the Sharks, and so this is where the Sharks have the edge, right? They have the edge offensively in the depth department. And even still, without a Pavelski and without a Donskoy, you saw them flex their depth muscle a little bit, and it's good to see Nyquist get his first. It was a guy that in a really physical series in the Vegas series was not really around. I thought maybe the play was just a little too physical for him, and it was kind of throwing him off his game. But boy, playing against Colorado, you're going to see a player like him really stand out.
Yes. We can only hope. We can only hope. And remember, just before this is the thing that we're not discussing about the first period. Despite letting in that first goal in the first 2 minutes, I thought Jones looked really good. I thought it was almost kind of like, well, the first one's already by me. Might as well just lock everything down now, which we have seen during the regular season before. But he did make one. I mean, thank God he's got them big feats, because there was one that, I mean, it was off the tip of the toes on that block. And then at 16:25, Mikko Rantanen asked the question, "Can I kick it?" And the answer was no.
No, you can't. Which I mean, fortunate for the Sharks, obviously, that he did end up winning some. Man, that was a move. Because I mean, it's funny when you look at that and the move that he made there, and then he gets pyloned like a little later. It's like, was that the same guy, really?
Dude, I just love his reaction. Like, as soon as he kicked it, as soon as he felt the puck leave his skate and saw it go in the net, he was like, yeah, that's not going to count.
But yeah, I'm sorry. My headphones went out. Give me a second here.
Oh, okay. So with that, oh my Lord, Jones also stopped had a big breakaway save. And, after one period, Colorado's out shooting the Sharks 13-9, but it's tied at 1. San Jose's doing well in the faceoff circle at 53%, and they're blocking a lot of shots, 8-3 in favor of San Jose. So in giveaways, Colorado gave it up 7 times, San Jose only twice. So you have to like what the team is doing in front of Jones, and I think Jones kind of rewarded the team with that first period. Then we move on to the second, and we finally get a call in this game. It's amazing how when you play, I guess a team that's not in your division in the playoffs, that you don't see all the shenanigans early and not a lot of calls. But Dylan Gambrell would get called at 2:46, tripping Jost. Absolutely. Got his stick in there, and you can't do that. That's what they say anyway. Huh?
That's what they tell me.
That's what they tell me. And a minute later, Wilson would deflect one in on the power play. Landi, I saw that EK65 got a piece of this. It actually deflected twice off the shot, and then finally leaving Wilson's stick and getting past Jones. But again, that's one I can't hang that one on Jones. Deflections.
No. Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like Jones was in a good position. It was a double deflection. Again, one of those kind of fluky type goals where they got the bounce. And, on that play, Jones is fronting the puck well. He's moving about well. So all of the kind of signs that we saw of the Jones that kind of lost confidence, we weren't seeing that. He again, it didn't let him phase him, and he seemed pretty set in the net. And the thing is, when Jones is really on his game, he fights for pucks. And so on those saves that you were talking about previously, he was going out and really scrambling around and being athletic and using his large size, his tools that he has. So again, didn't seem to phase him, and I'm glad that he bounced back afterwards, because he made some great saves after.
Yeah. And Zach noting in the chat, don't think that Gambrell is ready for the NHL. Well, you know what? It's that time of year. Injuries happen, and next man up, guys.
I thought, there was a play in front of the net, though, where Gambrell cleared out the front of the net, and I thought he has moments where he shows some great poise. Would he be in the lineup if this lineup was healthy? No, obviously not. But I think he's come in, he's played some minutes, and I think there's been moments of real positive signs from Gambrell when you consider the stakes and we're there in the playoffs. And I like, again, that play in front of the net, he showed some great poise, clearing it out with some Avalanche bearing down on him.
Absolutely. But after that, a minute, in fact, after that, it seemed to be 1 minute after the other here, Brendan Dillon would get caught high-sticking Compher, and he would get a 4-minute major for that one. And that was a bad high stick.
Double minor.
Yeah.
It was double minor.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got him right in the grill. And then
I don't think so. I mean, they probably, he probably faked it, bladed himself.
That's true.
Blood packet.
True. In fact, I'm probably sure that there's going to be a phone call coming from the NHL apologizing on Dillon's behalf.
Right.
But the Sharks coming out on Twitter after able to kill off that 4 minutes and let everybody know that it is possible, in fact, to kill off a 4-minute penalty and not give up any goals. So it is possible.
Right.
San Jose Sharks Twitter basically burning the world down with that one.
Yeah. It was for sure. Solid shade.
Oh, man, it was awesome. About 5 minutes later, Jumbo Joe would go 5-hole on a 2-on-1 with Sorensen. And this, Eric, was a shooter's shoot goal. Ever since Pavelski's gone down, Jumbo is on a tear.
Yeah, I mean, Jumbo and Sorensen look like a really, they've been dynamic all year, really been the catalyst, I think, putting him and Labanc on his line, to offset the speed discrepancy with Joe. Those two players go off and hunt the puck while Joe can kind of float out in the slot or go behind the net and really kind of direct play. So he's got two little gatherers of the puck, and then, he can kind of direct them and, place that puck on the stick. In this case, it was Sorensen setting up Jumbo, who passed it into the net, and it was a really nice pass. So, good on those guys. They're getting Philip Grubauer to move laterally, which, if you have not already heard Chris JWS's preview on the Colorado series, that was going to be a key point to look at with Philip Grubauer. He's traditionally had issues moving left to right and right to left in the crease, and seemed to have figured that out in the Calgary series. But I didn't really like his movement on that 2-on-1. Mind you, it's brutal because you either pick the shooter, and Sorensen did an awesome job with faking a shot, look him off, and then passing it with a no-look pass to Jumbo. So, you don't fault Grubauer there because he's really trying to read that play. But, just an absolute sell job by Sorensen, and it's able to get, Jumbo kind of a really good look at the net, and he pounds it in. So, for me, this is the line to look out for because Kevin Labanc, Sorensen, and Joe can really give matchup problems. I mean, when Joe Thornton's your third-line center, you're doing something right. So it's going to be really that line is going to be a key cog in moving this team forward past Colorado.
It could be that Thornton line making a huge difference. And there was a lot of talk, and I think even Ian mentioned it before on Teal Tinted, that it's similar that Vegas had the Stastny line. Colorado has, Rantanen, Landeskog, and McKinnon. But McKinnon is clearly, the force, so to speak. But he's the one that makes that bus go. So, I mean, as long as Vlasic stays healthy and you keep those guys away from the score sheet, you got a great shot at winning, especially if Jones does what he does. But before we get to the next one and get Ian's take on the Thornton goal, I want to welcome the 95 of you watching right now and ask if you please do us a favor, hit that subscribe button right down there. We would certainly appreciate it. Follow us on our social media channels at tealtownusa on Instagram and Twitter, and the website tealtownusa.com. We would certainly appreciate it. Hit the subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and thank you for tuning in. Ian, your take on the Jumbo goal.
I mean, Landy pretty much summed it up pretty well.
Okay, then moving on. No.
Moving on. No, I mean, there's not much to say. I mean, it was a great pass by Sorensen. And I think that this line is probably not going to get, this line is going to get some soft matchups because you can't leave the Hurdles and Coutures to just run around. And I think that with the guy like Joe Thornton running point on a unit like this, and the way Joe Thornton has been in the last couple of games, I mean, he's just been, I know a lot of people, like I was always really ticked off when they took the C off of Thornton, because I figured, I just feel like this is still very much, not saying it's just Thornton's team, but it's still very much Thornton's team. And I think it's really proven that the last couple of games with the leadership that he's shown. Their comment on the broadcast tonight about him getting on guys for not skating to the bench hard enough in the third period. And, when he went back and said, okay, like we're going to score some effing goals now in the last, in game 7. I mean, what he's brought to the team is something that I think that he's always brought, but never got the credit for bringing before.
And let me throw this question to you, AJ. Who would you rather have, Derek Brassard or Joe Thornton?
Of course I'd have Derek. What are you talking about?
Right. So, but I mean, I bring that up because that's the primary matchup that Bednar is trying to get out there against Joe, is that Brassard line. And boy, that Brassard line looks slow, especially when Sorensen and Labanc are out there with Jumbo. Jumbo, I don't know if you guys noticed a little bit, but his defensive zone play seemed to pick up in that game too. In tonight's game, where he was really making a lot of back checks. He was making a lot of strong plays along the walls to keep it out of the slot. And I think that's also something we should kind of go over for tonight's game, is the way that the shots from Colorado pretty much were kept to the perimeter. Maybe in that first period they got a few of those odd man rushes. I think it was maybe one, and they had a couple of slot chances. But besides those were the majority of where the high dangers came. And in that second and third period, it was just on lockdown.
That also might be habit from the Vegas series.
And I feel like the suspension was really what turned Joe Thornton's game around, because I feel like, up until then, like we've all, heard the win it for Jumbo. And I feel like after that game, where I don't think he was really all that effective before he got suspended. And I feel like after that game, he was like, no, I'm going to win it for me, damn it. Like, I'm going to go win it. Like, it's, he's not, I don't want to say a passenger, but I felt like he's been much better player since the suspension than he was before.
Absolutely. After Jumbo, about 6 minutes later, I hope that they're able to find Mikko Rantanen's jock, because Labanc completely skated him out of it with a goal. I mean, I had to take a shower after that. That goal was so filthy. I mean, just coming in off the blue line, doing a little weaving, putting the puck through Rantanen's skates, and then turning around and just top shelf between two Avalanche players. It's quite honestly, so far, it's been the most impressive goal I've seen in the playoffs from the Sharks. And you don't think that maybe that might come from a Hurdle or a Couture, but Labanc, and of course Ian, long time Labanc guy.
Yep. I mean, he shook my confidence a little in him this year. I think there's still parts of his game that are incredibly flawed. He's incredibly soft on the puck in his own zone. I feel like there's defensive things, but I mean, no one ever doubted this kid's talent offensively. And I think what's drawn a lot of ire is being soft on the puck and stuff, but this kid can score. This kid was the leading scorer in the OHL, when guys like Dylan Strome and Connor McDavid were there. And yet who was the leading point getter in the OHL his last year? It was Kevin Labanc. This guy was, put up some points for the Barracuda, and he's consistently put up points. I think, like any scorer, he goes into slumps where he doesn't get a point for a while. I mean, look at Timo tonight, throwing everything he could online. Finally, he gets an empty net goal to kind of reward him. But I think we've seen a lot of that from Kevin Labanc as well, where I think he gets a little more flack though, because when he gets the puck peeled off of him on the blue line or something and it goes the other way, people get a lot more angry, and you don't really get that from Timo's game.
No, and Timo,
I'll put it to
like
you
he's this close to just like breaking through.
Right.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with it, with the Timo talk. And just on Labanc, talk about a guy who grew up in 4 minutes. I mean, this guy, he's now got that confidence, like he can make those plays that he was making in junior. And when a kid can really tilt the ice when he's on it like that, that's something really special. And again, were there racing stripes out on the ice? Because I think Mikko kind of went in the bed there. I mean, just right through the legs, and he kind of had the controller port pulled out on him. It was such a sick move. And then not only that, but to go cross grain on Grubauer. So not only was it the move, but it was the shot selection, which has looked a million times better, because there were so many. Yeah, I mean, there were so many times that he would take a shot and it would just be in the crest. But now he's kind of picked up that hurdle move and that couture move, crossing the ice and going against the grain. So really great to see that from Banker.
So Banker would end up getting the game-winning goal in this one, but 3 minutes after that, Brent Burns would let a slapper on the net that picked up a nice little deflection. I still wonder if maybe the NHL looks at this and maybe we see a scoring change tomorrow or something. I don't know. That's
possible.
Yeah, maybe not. But the other thing we got to look at too is the Sharks outshot the Avalanche in this period, despite being on the power play for 6 minutes of it. So I think that was also another thing that you kind of look at and you go, this matchup right now, it pleases me, is what I'm saying. It's a little nervous in those first couple of minutes, and now I'm kind of like, oh, this pleases me. Not to mention the fact that Colorado doesn't have a Ryan Reeves on their team. It seems like Colorado wants to just beat you with straight out finesse speed hockey. And we know the Sharks not the speediest team, but I don't know. I like this matchup. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's weird though, because I agree with other people going like, wow, they were the intensity is not there, and it will be. I mean, you can't play upwards of 7 games against an opponent and not have that ugliness come in at some point. But
let's see where we're at after game 4.
Right. Yeah. Game 4. I think we'll be. We'll start to really be like, oh, I hate this team, I hate that guy, and then we'll get back to where we're used to it.
It'll probably be Nieto, but yeah.
Oh damn that Nieto! Not for
Well, I don't remember there being, or I don't see. I just can't remember hearing much vitriol between Calgary and Colorado. So, maybe Colorado is just that team that you just, this isn't your dad's Colorado team. This isn't the days of Sakic and Forsberg and Patrick Waugh losing his mind. And
right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot, it's weird, because there's a lot of individual players on Colorado that I really like. So it's I'm obviously Team Teal all the way, but it's not. Yeah, I mean, it's not Vegas.
Well, you don't love hockey if you don't enjoy watching Nate McKinnon play.
Right.
Exactly. He's really a special player.
And Cheryl, bring Calvert was starting to do some stuff at the end there, and some of that stuff will carry over. I mean, it's a series, right? I think, Colorado had some more days off, and I think that worked to the Sharks' benefit, because they just came out of that. Although they came out a little flatter than they'd like to start. But they found their game quickly, and Colorado didn't. I don't think found their game as quickly as they would have liked after their layoff.
I like Chester pointing out in the chat, it's like, dude, the Avs are from Colorado. They're too stoned to be angry. Legal here too, pal. But the Sharks would be up 4-2 after 2 periods. And I think at that point, it really gave Coach DeBoer a little bit of a breath and allowed him to maybe increase some ice time for some guys like, I don't know, Lukas Radil, Joakim Ryan, so on and so forth, which we'll get to after the third. But I think that definitely gives everybody a breather, that you're not trying to claw back from something. So in a relatively quiet third period, all you had was, at 30 seconds left in this game, Timo, as you said, Ian, getting rewarded with an empty netter. Mm-hmm. I'm sure the NHL will call the net and apologize for it being empty.
How does this happen?
Yeah. And one final note, just to pimp the website, I did have an article up there earlier today about the Golden Knights blaming the officials for the loss, and included GIFs to illustrate points. So if you have time, maybe you want to check that out tomorrow or after the show tonight. The only other thing I wanted to note that I had listed here is
I just told you on the website. Actually, I'm working on something as well that I'm going to hopefully have done before the weekend's out. Just about because in a similar vein, but in a different angle, just why more video review is bad.
Oh, dude, I absolutely agree. Could not agree more. But it's funny, Troy in the chat stealing my thunder. I really liked Radiel, but we saw what happened in Game 7 where it's getting what was it? got 2 shifts, blew a coverage in the second shift, never saw the ice again. He definitely looked like he had a chip on his shoulder. And you talk about another guy who was skating with purpose tonight, at least in my mind, was Barclay Goodrow. Dude was skating like he had about 20 pounds more muscle, maybe about 2 inches more in height, and maybe about 2 inches more going somewhere else, if you catch my drift. I mean, dude was swinging it tonight after what he did in Game 7. And how can you blame him? I'm just saying.
Oh, yeah, man, absolutely. Like it was just, I mean, I think the thing that you can take away from tonight was it was a solid team effort. It wasn't really a, 1 or 2 guy show. It was really a team effort tonight.
Yeah. And you even had the announcers talking about how Jumbo was like almost player coach tonight, kind of yelling at the boys, telling them to get it together. And in fact, this is a spectacular time then. I mean, how could it not be? Spectacular time to mention that we now have a shirt on the website, tealtownusa.com. Go grab one of these to win it for Jumbo. And hey, you support us and you support the site. We'd really appreciate it. So go catch one of them shirts. They're pretty snazzy. There you go.
We love the merch.
Yeah. So let's get into the final minutes here then. It's, in other words, excuse me as I whip this out. But let's take a look here. Dylan Gambrell getting a whopping 610. And I think we would all agree that if this game was a lot closer, it would have been about half that time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joachim Ryan getting 722. So still not seeing a whole lot of trust. But hey, now it's, at least Ryan so far in these playoffs has not been victimized like we saw multiple times to finish off the regular season. And thank you so much, Laurel. We appreciate that. Let's see here. Brent Burns, of course, leading the way at 27-20 in ice time. Vlasic, second, 25-23. That's not, that doesn't blow me away. That seems right. But Erik Karlsson only getting 21-30. Again, I think this is a case of PDB saying, you know what? We have a healthy lead. Karlsson, rest your boys, if you, so to speak. Rest the groin and take some time, enjoy it, and we'll if we need you more, we'll use you more. Kevin Labanc only getting 12:41 tonight. I'm a little surprised by that, dude. I mean, the guy assisted on all 4 goals in Game 7, so I don't know. But anyway, that's it. Final numbers here, and then we'll start talking about other stuff. Avalanche 28-27 on shots on goals, an absolute deadline down the middle, 50-50 on the face-off circle, 1 for 3 for the Avs on the power play, 0 for 1 for the Sharks. Penalty minutes, 8 for the Sharks, 6 for the Avalanche. Hits were negligible, 28-26 in favor of Colorado. Blocks 22-16 in favor of San Jose. And giveaways, the Avalanche doubled up the Sharks 15-7. And we have Game 2 on Sunday. Remember, early start time for this one, 4:30 Pacific. So overall thoughts, your feelings on this series so far, Ian? Like, what are you looking for in Game 2? Like, any type of changes whatsoever? And do you think there's any way in hell that Pavelski returns?
I wish they would give us a straight answer on. I understand it's the playoffs and you don't want to, but look at the entire league saw him bleeding out of his bloody head. So tell us something. Like, it's not like there's no secret here. He's got a head injury. I don't know.
No, upper body.
Yeah, it's upper body injury. That just happens to be his head. I wish that the Sharks. I mean, like, just because, like, I care about Joe Pavelski the person. Like, I would rather have like some definitive what the hell happened to him, rather than this vague, maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't, that the Sharks always seem to do. I don't like it. I don't think we see him in game 2. I honestly, depending on how long the series goes, I don't know if we see him in the series, to be completely honest.
Yeah, I had him pegged around the game 3-4 mark myself. Just to give him that extra couple of days. And quite honestly, the guy that I would like to see more than Pavelski is Donskoy, because he's a speedier type forward, and this kind of game suits him more. Whereas Pavelski, he's the the great tipper and the person that's got the net front presence, but his wheels are a little. He's a little bit on the slower side, so it would be nice to get Donskoy either reunited with Logan or put him with Hurdle.
Yeah. Sleepy asking in the chat, what about Shimmick returning?
He might.
No,
day to day.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I think it's going to be day to day to October.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's where I'm looking at. There's no way they're rushing him back. So, yeah. So throw it to the chat right now and see. And I'm with the boys as well. Got Pavelski hanging in the room, of course. But anything from the chat, anything else you'd like to ask, we are all ears. Eric, what do you think that the Sharks at this point make any changes, or what do the Avalanche do to try to solve the jumbo line?
Yeah, I would assume that the first, kind of chess matching is going to go to Jared Bednar. Because basically he's trying to get a split on the road, right? So that game 2 is going to be very important for them. But, again, we go back to, who do you want, Derek Brassard or Joe Thornton? And then, you've got Alex Kerfoot, who, I think he's going to be a good player, but doesn't really have a lot of experience yet. So he would be going up against either Logan or Hurdle. And then you've got Carl Soderberg. So, to me, Carl Soderberg was that third line, fourth line presence for Boston. And he's kind of been put into this hybrid 2-3C spot on the Avalanche. So again, it's going to be about the matchups, and it's going to be about the Sharks exploiting their power on during center, in the center position, excuse me. So that's why I'm thinking somebody like Donskoy, injecting him into the lineup will just kind of lengthen the lineup just that little bit more. You can get Nyquist back down with Hurdle. But, I liked Radil's game as well. I thought that he was hunting on pucks, and who knows, maybe him and Hurdle are screaming check at each other, and the Avs don't know.
Well, at least Furlot and O'Halloran weren't involved in this. We can let that go. I don't have to worry about them losing control of any of the games in this series. Oh, I'm telling you.
I feel bad for O'Halloran, but that's another topic entirely. I think for what the Avalanche, the Avalanche are going to be in tough here tomorrow because, I think they just got to come in like with a little more jump than the Sharks are going to have. Like the 7-game series is a tough slog, and the Avalanche have to use their rest to their advantage at some point since they did this game. But this Colorado team isn't that deep. And I'm not saying that with the current injuries, the Sharks are that much deeper, but tonight they were. So, really this game for me, this completely leans Sharks in my opinion, because you've got last change, you have a deeper lineup. The Sharks could really put the screws to the Avalanche here with a big game on Sunday. And I think that if they don't, I think it's a missed opportunity.
Absolutely. And I think tonight was a missed opportunity. You had all the rest. You had a team that just played 2 overtime games. But then again, maybe you also lend some credence to just the emotional high. Again, I go back to 2016 where the LA Kings were that speed hump that was constantly in San Jose's way. Yep. And they finally got over that. And I think just the momentum from that carried them through the next series as it went 7. And
guys, and I think an important point that we're also kind of missing here is in that third period when the Sharks basically had their lead, that 4-2 lead, they came out and they still pressured, and they did not wilt. And so, it reminded me of that January, February span where it looked like men against boys. And when they wanted to lock it down, they could absolutely lock it down. And that, to me, speaks more volumes that, look, Nathan MacKinnon, he can play all the minutes that he wants. He's still going to get stymied. And, he's got to contend with a blue line that, quite frankly, in my opinion, is a lot deeper than Calgary's blue line. And I think that the Sharks can move it quicker than Calgary can. So I think it's just a different kind of beast that Colorado is going to have to adjust to. And Nathan MacKinnon, unfortunately, is going to see a whole hell of a lot of 44.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, +4 tonight. But the other thing that we have to talk about, the Sharks so far in the playoffs are 5-3. In 5 of those games, Vlasic has played. And 3 of those games, Vlasic did not play. I'll give you one guess as to which ones he played and which ones he didn't.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and obviously, look, Martin Jones had a hell of a game like tonight, and he's put together a nice string of games, to be completely honest. Obviously the success of the Sharks is going to ride and die with Jones.
Yep.
They can't continue to outscore their problems.
Well, but hey, it was 2 or fewer tonight, man.
Yeah, another 2 or fewer, much to 36-0 when they are 2 and fewer, much to the joy of Brody Brazil. But yeah, the Sharks with Jones, it's like, yeah, you my ride or die, bitch.
Yeah, no, he really is. You can do like everything that I just said about with the line matching and exposing the lack of your advantage on depth. I don't want to say the lack of depth in Colorado, but I think the Sharks have an advantage there. And if you can expose that, but if Martin Jones can't stop a beach ball, then it's for nothing, right? Like it's got to, Jones has to keep playing the way he is. I'm happy to finally see it because I never thought we'd get here.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I don't think anybody did. Everybody who, took Tampa in their bracket in the first round all had the Sharks out after being down 3-1, but no, credit Martin Jones. A 929 save percentage tonight. Dude is, I don't know what he did in the team bus after getting yanked, in game 4. But the dude is just miraculously turned it around, even though his numbers were actually suspect in game 7. I think he was like at 856, but he did enough. And I don't know. I feel like the first round galvanized the team. And I think, I just think from getting through that, like the whole team is like, Jones, don't worry. We got you back. I don't think we're going to see Aaron Dell, at all this series after that. I don't see. Yeah, I don't. Well, yeah, of course I hope not, but I don't see, I just don't see Jones giving. I think any confidence, because obviously he had a confidence issue. He'd seen Vegas like 11 times and been pulled in 5 of the games. So it's, I think they were in his head. And now that that's out the window, he's like, oh yeah. Oh, by the way, the Avalanche played him 3 times, beat them all 3 times this regular season. We got you. You're good. It's
the other thing though, I think AJ too, that we need to kind of put forward is, Burns was kind of a little bit missing in action in round 1. Tonight, man, 4 points, and just Colorado had no answer for Burns. And they look like they contained
defensive posture.
Right. And
it actually worked.
Yeah.
What was that, Ian?
Yeah.
I said it was protocol. It actually worked. So
that's true.
When it's good, it's protocol. When it's bad, it's posture.
Yeah.
And so this is another one of those insane matchups where, hey, you want to shut down Erik Karlsson? We have a Brent Burns. Hey, you want to shut down a Brent Burns? We got an Erik Karlsson. And we have kind of, a decent third pair in Ryan and, Braun as well. So, again, there's not
Vlasic.
Vlasic with Burns,
Noted
right?
sniper, Mark Edward Vlasic.
Yeah, exactly. But that runs amok on any team, and again, you got those 3 horses on separate, except for Vlasic and Burns. But you can run out 3 very good pairs, and the first 2 are elite pairs. And boy, again, it's a lot of rubber coming from the back end.
Yeah, I think with Burns too. I mean, a lot of Burns's, invisibility in the first round. I mean, a lot of credit has to go to the Vegas defense for that, because they zeroed in on him and they were just on top of him whenever he was on the ice.
There's a 2-on-1 break coming the other way. Deploy the starfish.
Well, you know what? And the interesting thing about that starfish deployment, not only did he poke the puck off the first time, but when he was still on the ground, he poked it off again.
Yeah.
And so Burns was allowed to roam out there like the wild man that he is. And if Colorado continues to unmark him, they're going to get burnt, and this series is going to be real quick.
Well, that's it, and that's what I think too. Like the Sharks have so many weapons, and I really question the Avalanche's depth to deal with it. The problem is, though, of course, is you could start getting overconfident and start taking things lightly, and then I think Colorado's
a Nathan McKinnon
annihilate you if you take them lightly.
Exactly, and we're just a game away from a Nathan McKinnon explosion, because, quite frankly, he looked very frustrated tonight. Him and Rantanen.
How could you not? Well, Rantanen was still busy trying to find his jock, but how could you not be frustrated with this? Again, you had a lot of factors on your side. You had a lot of rest. You're playing a banged up squad. I mean, no Donskoy, no Pavelski, no Schimmick. You've got Joachim Ryan playing limited minutes. You've got Dylan Gambrell and Radil coming in limited minutes. So you think that you need to take advantage of this, but credit to PDB. He's playing his pieces very well and knowing when to put guys on the ice, knowing when to keep them off. I mean, hello, Barkley, effing Goodrow.
Yeah. And Karlsson, Melker looked pretty decent in this as well, because he's another speedy forward, but has a little bit more jam to his game than the standard Colorado Avalanche forward. You're run of the mill forward, and so the Sharks can throw around their weight a little bit, I think, in this series.
Well, and the other thing too, let's be honest. The key to this game, or this series, I should say, is limiting Matt Nieto's shorthanded chances. Just saying.
Wow.
Is that LA County, Matt Nieto?
Be Long Beach native. So much drama in the LBC.
Wow.
All right. Well, I can't tell. They're in commercial right now, but wait a minute. You guys are not really seriously asking in the chat about the whole Long Beach native thing. Okay. If you're not aware, and how could you be? Because Randy Hahn and the boys are not calling this one. Matt Nieto is a Long Beach native from Long Beach. Now, Chris, JWS from the show, did a talk earlier that I believe it was posted earlier today with the Colorado Avalanche writer from The Athletic. And that was actually one of the lead things that they spoke about. And it was the explanation of the whole Long Beach native. It's one of those things that only we get. If you go back, and I'm trying to think of what game it was, there was a writer from somewhere. I can't remember where. Clearly not from this area, nor does she follow the Sharks whatsoever. But she was wondering why. No, it wasn't.
Emily Kaplan from ESPN?
I'm not sure. I think, but it was Game 5 or something. But she was completely perplexed as to why the team mascot, I don't even think she referred to him as sjsharky. She just said, I'm wondering why the team mascot's out there in a Ninja Turtle costume at the end of this game.
Oh, my God.
And so it had to be explained to her about the hurdle and everything like that. And it's just kind of like, the things that we know about other people outside of the area, they're just completely oblivious to. So, it's an insider joke, as Four Paws is saying. So, yeah. Oh, former Shark Long Beach native Matt Nieto is the full name.
That's right.
Try fitting that on your driver's license, pal.
Hey, AJ, I think it's that time I think it's my favorite time of the show.
Hold on. We have one more thing, though, to touch on that came out, I believe, earlier today. So The Vegas Golden Knights had their locker clean out day. And basically the only like serious quote that you heard whatsoever was that we're not going to dwell on this. We're not going to have a pity party. We're going to move on. Blah blah blah. The stuff that you would typically expect to hear, and also coming out in that in basically the end of Vegas' season is that they've confirmed that they will be introducing a third jersey next season, third jersey for their third season. And I want to be the first to like, hey, let me know so I can get on NHL.com and pick one of those up. So the nameplate says it was, and the number says 30. Just saying. I'm just saying.
Hey, we have
Have the goddamn common courtesy to give him a reach around.
There's only one other. I don't even know why we're reaching it around. There's one other game.
A very short reach around.
But hot off a victory and knocking out the cup defending Washington Capitals. Those bunch of jerks do it again, yet in overtime, but having the goddamn common courtesy to finish it before the puck drop for the Sharks. We didn't have that crossover on NBCSN.
Yeah, and this is exactly why Landi is watching the Canadian feed this year.
Hey now. But Jordan Stahl would put it in 4 minutes into overtime. And there you go. My bracket, I already going down in flames. While I did have the the Carolina Hurricanes to, you know what? They're almost like the colors are almost similar. But anyway, I did have the Hurricanes advancing past the Capitals in my bracket in the first round, but I have the Islanders advancing this round. So the bracket not looking too good to start things off on that side. On the Shark side of it, looking very well. Exquisite. AJ, going to the game on Sunday? I am unsure.
Well, we'll have to wait in suspense.
Yes, I am unsure. At the very least, I may go down to the rally, and if I don't end up going into the game, maybe I'll head over to San Pedro or something like that. But right now, I am unsure. So for those of you who don't know, that's a Pucknologist's inside joke. So with that, I think this might be good enough time to wrap it up. I think we kind of covered everything in this game. Last call for comments on the chat. And while you get those in yet again, yes, I'm going to do it one more a time. A one and a two. But if you would, win it for Jumbo, baby. Support Teal Town USA. Hey now, look at that, John 10 for the puck drop on time. We love that. But win it for Jumbo. You want to pick up one of these shirts, you can go right over to tealtownusa.com and grab it. Link right there on the top of the front page. Go grab one of those cool shirts and support the show if you would, please, because hashtag win it for Jumbo. We might have to do a second one. This is a limited run, and we plan on doing stuff like this. Limited run of these shirts, and maybe we'll have to put one together for Pavelski or something as well. But anyway, go grab one of those. I'm already thinking of designs for Pavelski, but I'll let that slide for now. Anything else? Does the NHL have to apologize for anything else today?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Letting the bunch of jerks win, or
No. I mean, it was pretty uneventful. I mean, maybe they might slide in a Dylan suspension here or there, but
I heard somebody mention that earlier, and I'm like, no, I can't see it. They called it 4 minutes. It was what it was. It clearly, yeah, it wasn't a. There was no malicious intent behind it.
High stick cause bleeding. 4 minutes.
4 minutes. It's not like, I forget who it was was it Colin Miller? But I remember at one point in the series for Vegas, Sorensen is literally lying on his back. He is out of the play. And there's a guy on top of him that keeps banging on him. And it's like, right with an official staring right at it 5 feet away, but whatever.
The only reason why I bring it up is because they had it on the Canadian broadcast. They showed the Wild and Winnipeg Jets series last year where the It was kind of a similar play where it was a high cross check, and that was a suspension, a 1-game suspension. To me, though, a good thing that they pointed out, Dylan doesn't actually extend. It's the player coming to him. So I think that will be the mitigating circumstance. And I agree. I don't see it happening either.
I'd be shocked if player safety even says we're having.
No, if they didn't call for Justin Braun getting his head whipped around from McNabb, there's no reason why they should get a call for this. Skylar asking, hey, can the NHL apologize for every bad call the Sharks have ever gotten?
I don't think other fan base is asking the same question right now.
I wouldn't say that. Now, maybe they want to call and apologize for the goal that was stolen away from Joe Pavelski in 2016 versus Nashville, perhaps. But that's one of the things that I put on my article today on tealtownusa.com is the fact that welcome to the NHL, Vegas. You now know what it feels like to be 30 other teams.
Yeah.
There's literally every team in the league has a story like this. So, go cry on the golf course. Okay.
Go ask Buffalo.
Yeah, exactly. Google 1999 Buffalo Sabres no goal and then get back to me. That happened significantly further along in the playoffs than what just happened to you. Oh, geez, here we go. We got Chivo sending the shops. Okay, I'll give you a quick shot before we go. Where'd you send it, Chiefs? Where'd you send it, my brother? You got to send it to Teal Town, man. Somebody else talk about something else while we're waiting.
While we're doing that, I think we should probably pimp out the handles and kind of give the last thought. So as far as on my end, you can use my first name, that's Eric with a K, and my last name, Landi, that's Landi, and you can find me on all the social media garbage. As far as my last takes go, Sharks got to play that lockdown, clamp down style in the third period, and you could see that it was really grinding on Colorado. So bring that kind of game into game 2. Kind of play the road game at home. Keep them, keep the shot suppression kind of game and close checking. Keep that going. And if you keep that going and they keep unmarking Brent Burns, it's going to be a short series.
Okay, well, Chester, dude, you're not following us, man, so I'm not seeing it on my list. You got to follow at Teal Town USA, and let that just be a reminder. Follow Teal Town USA on Instagram and on Twitter.
Oh, I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Give me a second. I'll screen share here.
Hey, AJ, where can people find you at?
You can find me at AJ_strong on the Twitter and on the Instagram. And yeah, that's it. Again, go get one of those t-shirts. It's the first of a limited run we plan on trying out and see how they work. So hopefully you can dig it. Let's see here. Oh, hell to the yeah. Oh, man. Getting clowned under the big top. Hell to the yeah. Bunch of clowns. Oh, I love it. And for those of you listening to the audio stream, we will be taking that image and posting it on our Instagram so you can check that out, because hell to the yeah. Oh, man, that was great. All
Troy
right.
saying the NHL called to apologize to Chester.
Oh, yes. Yes. Okay. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we do this after every single Sharks game. Been doing it for this is like our 450th show. I'm not even lying. We are the originators, people. So check us out. Follow us on YouTube if you would, please. Hit us up on Twitter at TealTownUSA. Same on Instagram. Use that hashtag. And remember, you can find us everywhere on audio: iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, TuneIn, and Spotify. Don't forget Spotify. And like I said, all the other places you can check us out. Again, go get you a tea, baby. That's a sweet looking tea. It's a sweet.
That is a sweet looking tea.
So with that, everybody, as we like to say, on behalf of Landi and Ian Reed and Puck Guy, here we go. Keep it real. Keep it teal. Just keep it real teal. Good night, everybody.